BMW Motorcycle Owners of America present the Short Wheelbase Podcast. With members in all 50 states, Canada, and across the globe, the BMW MOA invites you to ride inspired. Learn more about membership benefits, including roadside assistance, tire hazard protection, and more at bmwmoa.org. The Short Wheelbase Podcast is also brought to you by Boxer 2 Valve, supplier of quality OEM and aftermarket parts and specialty tools, and by Air Support BMW, offering premium driveline rebuilding and performance enhancements for your air-cooled BMW.
Welcome, everyone. This is episode 16 of the Short Wheelbase Podcast. I'm Nick, and we have Daren. How are you doing today, Daren?
I'm excellent.
Awesome. Fresh back from the Handbuilt Show. Which
Indeed. Yeah, we'll dig into that a little bit.
Yep. The overarching theme for today, we're going to do a Handbuilt Show recap. Before that, though, we are going to go over our garage updates. And our featured bike of the week is from the Handbuilt Show. You got to see this one in person. We'll talk more about that in a bit. And we'll just kind of go over your experience at the Handbuilt Show. And then we've got a recording that you made at the Handbuilt Show. So like I said, everything's Handbuilt Show today.
HBS. All day, all long on this one.
This is where I get to live vicariously through you. Hope everyone else gets to enjoy it as well. But let's get into the garage updates to start. Daren, what you been working on?
Kick it off?
Yeah, what you been working on?
So batteries. I bought a new battery. I have to say I'm a big fan, a big proponent of the Odyssey brand battery. Those particular batteries just seem to keep going and going and going. Sorry for the Energizer reference there, but that's just the case with those things.
Yep.
I bought a new PC 925L. So that means the negative terminal is on the left.
Gotcha.
And I bought it from a company called, we're going to give these folks a little plug-a-roo here, MX Power Play.
Okay.
And they're in Kentucky. And the PC 925L is a battery that completely fills up a battery tray on a /6/7. I don't know about other models, but it fits in there perfectly. You do have to remove the lift handle, tilt it up to get it in there. It makes it a little bit easier, but it fills up the battery tray perfectly.
Nice.
It tilts forward, so the terminals are facing the airbox, which makes it easy to get to. You don't have to lift the seat off. Mm-hmm. And these Odyssey batteries, I have these things, generally speaking, for at least 7 or 8 years.
Can't beat that.
No, I'm really, the only time I charge them occasionally. The only reason I replaced this one, I think the actual battery had a little bit of a leak. There was some oxidation powder that kept popping up on the battery box. And the battery was coming up on 8 years old. So it was time for a replacement on this. Anyway, MX Power Play out of Kentucky. I got this battery for $220, which is a good price.
Yeah.
Considering
those Odysseys are pretty expensive.
They're pricey, and delivered to me here in Arkansas. Should be arriving within the hour. Ordered it on Monday, so 3-day delivery. Pretty impressed with it.
Cool. Very good.
Pretty impressed with it. And and I think I've got Odysseys in a number of my other bikes. PC 680, I think, is another popular model that a lot of airheads use. It's a little more narrow. It doesn't fill the battery box up. The 925, it's maybe a bit of overkill in the battery size and the cranking amps. I don't know what it is exactly. The 680, again, it's a little thinner, a little trimmer. I use that on like the 90S, where I don't have any auxiliary stuff, no heated grips, no lights. It's just basically the 2 battery terminals, and that's on there with the 680. The larger 925, I do like to put those on a bike where I've got auxiliary stuff, heated grips, lights, that kind of stuff. Whether it makes a difference, I don't know, but I've never had any issues with either of them. So anticipating that new battery is going to go in the green machine.
Nice. I'll be all set.
Yep. Yes, exactly. Yeah, you'll be ripping and roaring and ready to go.
Cool.
And the other little bit of update is the 90S is all prepped up for a little weekend jaunt with my wife, Michelle. We're going to visit some friends in Northwest Arkansas.
Cool.
And so I sent you a few pictures we can pop up here. These are some older ones from a couple of years ago when we took a trip on this bike all the way up to Red Wing, Minnesota. So we followed the Mississippi River all the way up from Cape Girardeau all the way up into Minnesota. And so this is sort of the touring 2-up trip setup on this bike. Usually I'll put the little tank protector on there. Saddlebags, of course, got the nice backrest on there that Michelle really likes. And then the interesting thing on this, there's a photo here where it shows the backrest from the rear of the bike. Mm-hmm. And you'll notice the paint on it's a little bit funky. So there's like a black stripe going down the middle.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that.
Yeah. So randomly 5 or 6 years ago, the seat came up on eBay. And I thought, I should see if I could find another seat cowl so I don't scratch up the nice original paint one. This one came up on eBay. Nobody was bidding on it. I got it for like $195 with the seat.
Wow. That's pretty good.
Yeah, it was a real bargain. And, so I've got a little custom black stripe down the middle.
A little racing stripe.
Yeah, which isn't a big deal. But the nice thing about it is I can put it on there, load some stuff on the back, not have to worry about scratching up the paint on the original cowl. And the backrest makes for a nice passenger area for Michelle. Nice. She really likes it back there. And so she's on the back. She's my human GPS. So she's got the cell phone barking out directions. And so that way I'm not looking at a screen on the handlebars. She takes care of that stuff.
Nice.
And I can talk back to the GPS, which is a nice feature.
Right. You can tell it it's wrong. You can
that's exactly
argue
right.
with it.
Yeah. I can argue with my GPS. So it's a nice feature. Anyway, so a new battery in the green machine. Got the 90S prepped up for a nice little spring trip. Weather looks good. So that's what's going on in the garage.
Good. I'm glad to hear you're on the trip. I know that there was a ton of rain and crazy weather down your way over the last couple of weeks here.
Nick, it was crazy. We didn't get, that severe storms and rain like other parts of the country did, but I live on a thing called the South Sylamore Creek. And we probably got about close to 10 inches of rain. And, when that happens, our water gets knocked out because some pipes underground get exposed. The internet goes out.
Oh man.
We're without services usually anywhere from 3 to 7 days.
Wow.
With a rain event like this. So
yeah. No, I'll be honest. I was on my phone every couple of days. Like, all right, is Daren getting hit right now?
There was actually about a month ago, a tornado was about 15 miles north of us, hit a small town called 56, Arkansas, just north of us.
Wow.
So we dodged that. We are, for better or for worse, in Tornado Alley. I live down in the bottom of a little river valley, or what people around here call a holler.
Oh, yeah, down in the holler.
Down in the holler. And I'm always afraid if we do get a tornado, it's going to ping pong around like a pinball machine, just because of the little valley we're in. So hopefully that never comes to fruition. But we've got our tornado plan. Anyway, tons of water, a lot of time on the tractor, repairing the roads, firing up the chainsaw. As I tell everybody, it's the high cost of low living.
Love it.
That's what it is. Yep.
Cool. Well, glad you didn't float away and everything's going to plan on this trip. So have fun. Let's see here. My garage updates for the week are the new starter is in and tested. It's working. Tank is off the bike, so I didn't actually turn the bike over completely, but I was able to get it all hooked up and hit the starter button and heard that beautiful sound of a new starter.
It makes a huge difference, doesn't it?
It does. Oh my gosh, it turned over so much easier.
Yeah.
And I don't even think the battery was fully charged when I did it. So the fact that it did that well was pretty great. I think what some people might not realize is in these conversion bikes, they used to be a 6-volt bike when it was a Slash 2. And so much to your battery conversation earlier, I don't have as much room for a battery as the newer bikes. So I've kind of got to buy batteries based on the dimensions of the battery. And so it's not the most powerful battery you can
What's
get.
in there? What is it?
Oh man, now you're making me. I bought it 2 years ago, so I can't remember what it's called anymore. I went on EME and just looked at all the. I knew my measurements and I just picked which one
what fit
within it.
Yeah.
And it's so tight, I had to actually take the battery tray that it's supposed to sit on out, because the battery tray sits literally a quarter of an inch up. And so the battery is sitting on the plate, the little tab that the battery tray is supposed to bolt to. It's sitting on that. And then I've got a strap around it. It's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
It's ride tested. It's fine. It also is so close up against the airbox that even if it let go, it would just lean forward slightly.
Oh, I got you.
Anyway,
is it a traditional battery or is it a gel?
It's a gel battery. Okay. Yeah. Anyway, point is, having a good starter on a /2 conversion is a dream, because you don't have a lot of battery to start with. So I'm stoked that that's done. While I was working on that, excuse me, I had to pull the front cover off so I could get to that front bolt of the original Bosch starter. And as I pulled off the front cover, it caught my eye immediately. The wire. Do you have
a picture of this?
I do. I'm popping it up in post here. But yeah, the wire that goes from the points plate up to the condenser, I know that this is a super common thing that people do all the time.
Yep.
But my wire was pinched in the front cover for the last year and a half. It is pinched bad enough that I'm amazed that it was working. Really a testament to that, because I think that's an original point plate and wire from back in the day.
Yeah.
So they made great wires back then. I hope the new one I'm putting on is as good in case I do it again.
Yeah, I've done it. I'm sure everybody listening here has done it once or twice.
Yeah.
And, those front covers can be a little bit tricky to get back on, especially you're talking about the wire that goes down.
It's that yellowish one. Yeah.
To the points.
Actually, here I have the.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
This is the replacement one.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow.
I haven't actually put this on yet, but this is the one that's going to go on the bike.
Okay.
But yeah, it's super tricky, especially on the conversion, to get that front cover off and on, because you can maybe even see it in the back here, but the Earl's fork has that loop on the back, and you actually have to shave that loop down to even do the conversion.
No kidding.
And so there's maybe, I don't know, a hair's worth of clearance between that loop and the front cover. So to get the cover off, you're turning the bar sideways and pulling the cover off opposite of the way you turn the wheel. So it's not a surprise that I pinched it, but I still did it. We're going to fix it. I had a spare set of points and a condenser in my tank bag. So
good for you.
And I've already ordered the replacement for that spare part, since I'm stealing that spare part to fix it.
Good. Always prepared. I like that. Yes.
Yep. So that's going on. Once that's sorted, I'll get to the brakes, which I mentioned last week. We also talked last week about a little show and tell.
Yeah.
The new helmet and jacket that I purchased.
Oh, yeah. I'm pumped to see this. Yes.
For the rally.
Right.
Out here in Colorado, our weather is typically on rides for me. I leave in the morning. It's nice and cool. I ride up 3,000 feet. It's the same temperature. I come down. It's 40, 50 degrees hotter, and I ride as quickly as I can to get to my house, because none of my jackets are ventilated.
Until now,
because I'm going to Tennessee in June. So first up, new helmet.
Oh, hey. Snazzy.
So this is the John Doe is the brand.
Yes, I'm familiar with that.
It's the JD1. I bought this because it's got vents. It has a vintage look to match the older bikes.
Yep.
The other helmet I typically wear is a Biltwell with the visor on the front. And I really like that visor out here in Colorado in the sun. Sometimes it's just nice to have. And so the cool thing about this JD1 helmet is it comes with this.
Oh yeah.
Swappable. You lose the shield to put it on, but you can swap it out for this little peak, which is pretty neat. And they have fillers pieces that if you want to run with no visor or no peak, you can do that.
Does it have place for ear speakers?
I haven't tested that explicitly because I don't have a set myself. But compared to my Biltwell, like my ears have so much more room I feel like my built well, I'm really crushed in there. So I'd have to imagine there's room in there for the speakers or the comm systems. So super excited about that, to have some ventilation for June. On the ventilation theme, this is the new coat. I don't know if I can.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Very cool. So you've kind of got that padded, quilted look. Is that a waxed cotton?
It is. It's a waxed cotton outer. But if you look closely on like the arms, and maybe I can get this onto the camera, I'm not sure. It's mesh. You can kind of see the light coming through.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So all down the insides of the arms, all down the front of the jacket, except the pockets, is it's all mesh. The whole back is mesh. And then it has a zip-in liner that's waterproof. So if it starts raining, of course, it's a little annoying. You have to take your coat off, put a different coat on, and then put the coat back on top of it. But at least I can get a waterproof liner into it, so that if it's raining in June, I can survive.
Yeah.
And hopefully not melt if it's hot.
And that jacket looks like it's sort of a drab olive.
Yeah, it's like a brown with a slight olive color to it. So super excited about that. That's from Merlin. It's the Merlin Shenstone. And then I also got the gloves that go with it, but I got those in black, and they're all perforated and breathable as well.
How's the fit on the jacket?
The jacket fits pretty well. I was a little concerned. It's a European brand. I was concerned it'd be a little snug. I'm definitely at the top end of the sizing of this large. I think an XL would be too long, but that's a problem I have with every jacket, regardless of who makes it. I've got a really short torso and long arms. So like I'm always in some kind of weird, something doesn't fit no matter what I buy. But yeah, the fit's good. It's super comfortable. It's heavy because of that. The waxed cotton fabric is a pretty heavy fabric. But that also probably means it's maybe a little bit more abrasion resistant. At least I hope.
Hopefully we won't find out.
Hope to not find out. Yes. And then the last thing, I just ordered these a day or two ago. I bought a pair of pants from Fuel is the brand.
Yeah. Yep.
And, I went off the rocker on this one, Daren.
Are we going to see them?
I didn't, they're not here yet. I'll show them when I get them, right. But I went off the rocker here. I have black pants is what I typically wear. Yeah. And I'm like, I can't bring these black Kevlar lined pants to Tennessee. I'm going to die. So I bought white pants, and I know I'm going to regret it immediately because they're going to be filthy the second I put them on. But they look good. I think they're going to look great with all the other stuff I bought. So it's a vanity thing.
Yeah, I was going to say, Nick, no matter what happens, you're going to look good riding the green machine the rally in Tennessee.
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah. I think I skewed very hard into the good looks on these purchases.
Yeah. Well, we're just going to see random Instagram photos of some guy on a green /6
with white pants
and this high-end gear. Like, who's this guy styling through Tennessee?
Right.
Hell yeah.
But anyway, I haven't done a big ride like this in a while, or a rally ever. So, I thought, this is the chance and the reason for me to re-up and set up myself a little bit for some future rides. So
I approve 100%. If I had a red stamp approval on the screen, I'd do it right now.
Nice.
Approved.
Like I mentioned last time when we first started talking about this stuff, I bought all of this stuff from fc-moto.de. So they're a German brand or German site from Wurzeln, Germany. I'm sure I pronounced that wrong.
Probably so.
Don't know. But everything that I've bought from them gets here in under a week.
Impressive.
Prices have been great. We'll see if they stay that way, but so far so good.
Yeah. Who knows?
Yep.
Who knows?
That's for another podcast.
It is.
Not
we'll
ours.
Just say though, somebody in the last program asked about the tariffs, and it's just like, who knows? It changes every minute.
Right. Yep. That's not for motorcycle podcasters to comment on. Cool. Well, that's my lengthy garage update, which was mostly about the cool things I bought. So thanks for hanging on with me.
And let me just ask you, so you were saying what's next with the conversion?
The brake pads.
That's right.
The new linings on. And then I just have everything here to do, fresh oil change, filter, air filter, all that, the basic stuff. And then should be good to go.
Good.
for a little while anyway, until something breaks, I guess.
Good report. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing it off the lift and in the garage on the floor. Yes.
Yep, I am too. It's 60 degrees out there. I wish it was done already, but life gets in the way.
It does.
Cool. So the featured bike this week, as I mentioned, is a bike that you got to see at the Handbuilt Show
in person,
and snag some photos of, and got to talk to the owner of the bike. So I will let you run with this for now and kind of give us what this bike is.
The rundown. Yes, this comes from the Carver clan, the Carver family of bikes. We featured Tyson, the builder, on this on a podcast episode maybe a year or so ago. And he and his brother Eli live in Wimberley, Texas. So they're in the hill country, pretty close to Austin. And no surprise, these guys are great builders, great airhead aficionados. So no surprise to see two bikes, one from Eli, one from Tyson, in the Handbuilt Show. The bike we're talking about belongs to Tyson's wife, Ana. It's a R80 ST that's been converted to kind of a GS style. This bike still maintains the stock ST front end. Some of the neat features, and you'll hear us talk about this a little bit in the excerpt and the clip later, but you can see in the photos, they've got a high fender, but a little shorter front fender, a custom seat in the GS style, but it's been lowered a little bit. I think they used Touareg blue, that's right, for the paint theme on this. Boy, and that is a sharp color. Really just a nice color. It goes well with the black. And some other little trick modifications you might be able to see in some of these photos. Tyson made a little extender on the kickstand, so it's a little easier for Ana to get her foot onto the kickstand, and she's not doing the kickstand ballet as many folks do. But yeah, and she, as you'll hear in the clip and in the excerpt, she spent a little time wrenching on this herself, which was good, and they've made some great trips on it. Again, I don't want to give everything away we're going to talk about, but all that to say, a great bike by Tyson, and Ana really enjoys riding it, and just well done. Eli had a bike in the show as well. I don't have a picture of it to share, but it was basically a R80 GS restoration with a PD tank.
Nice.
So I've got a full interview with him slated for the weeks ahead. So maybe we'll do a little primer on that sometime and show some pictures of that. But boy, he just did a fabulous job getting this bike restored back to nearly original condition. So
nice.
His wasn't in the theme of the Handbuilt Show necessarily as a custom bike, but as we'll talk about here in a little bit, the whole Handbuilt Show, it's BMW Motor Rod sponsored event, and the Carver boys, they've showed bikes there before, so it's a natural that his bike would have been there as well.
Right.
What are your thoughts on Ana's bike?
It looks great. I mean, I think I've mentioned this many times. I'm a short guy, so the fact that there's a mod there to make the side stand a little easier to work with would be awesome for me too, right? Like that's the kind of stuff that I love to see on these bikes, is the modifications that aren't just for looks, but are actually there to make the bike better, right? Like make it easier to use or make it more custom tailored to the person that's riding it. Like you said, the blue looks fantastic.
It does.
It's just a really clean bike. And I love that it still has a lot of its originality, but it's got a couple of little things where those of us who've been around these bikes long enough will look at it and go, that's not quite right, but it looks good.
That's exactly right. Perfect, spot on take, Nick. That's my thought on this one as well. Just the right amount of modifications that you can tell it's a custom build if you're in the know, but at the same time, it's not one of those where you're asking where are the fenders and why is there 2 millimeters of suspension travel in the front.
Yeah, it's a really cool bike, and I'm sure it rides so well too. So that's good to see. You mentioned the rest of the show, and actually I accidentally kind of skipped over that.
No, that's
and
fine.
Went right into the bike. But yeah, talk to us a little bit more about the show in general and your impression of everything there.
Yeah, so my first time going to this event, and thanks to Wes and Ted at the BMW MOA for dragging me along to go down on this, go down to this event rather. Had a good time hanging with Wes. We had a nice little Airbnb, just a short drive from the venue, which made it real convenient.
Cool.
And we did go to so MotoGP is also happening at the same time. So we went down Thursday, got our credentials. Of course, yours truly, cell phone challenge. There's always an issue with me not having a cell phone. So I had to lean on Wes for a minute to do a little on-site cell phoning to get my credentials. But we made it all happen.
Good.
And we had press passes. We went to the practice laps on Saturday. And so we were in the paddock. My terminology is not too good with racetracks. I guess essentially it's the press area behind the garages. So, excuse me.
That's the paddock for sure.
Okay.
Yep.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yep.
And it was kind of a confined area. So there wasn't a whole lot to see. There were a couple viewing areas where, basically the bikes go by at 9,000 miles an hour and you're like, okay, that's fast. Yep, that's fast. I was ready to go after 5 minutes. That's just me.
No,
I know there are a lot of racers out there and stuff who get into that, which is fine. It's okay. You might like smoked salmon. I don't. But but I was glad to get to see it. It was neat just to be around the event. It would have been different if we would have had like kind of a different pass with a different view of the track and stuff like that. And there was a lot to see, but I got bored pretty quick. I know Wes went over there and did some more coverage. We may see or hear something about that from him in the magazine or elsewhere. So that was one event we did. I've checked that off my box of things to do in life. So that's done. As far as the event goes, check-a-roo. It was held in the old Austin Statesman building. I think I'm getting that right. So that was the old newspaper building.
Oh, okay.
And we know what the fate of newspapers has been over the past 10 to 15 years as far as printing. And so this building has kind of been repurposed in a way by Revival Cycles.
Okay.
You'll hear in a later interview, I asked Ana Carver about this. He's got a little bit more in the know, and I'm paraphrasing this a little bit, but essentially, and again, I'm speaking extemporaneously here, so if I get some things wrong, please excuse me, but Revival Cycles has kind of, I don't know if they're leasing it, but they've sort of taken over that building for the show.
Oh, cool.
But also they're using part of the building where the exhibition isn't as a storage facility for people in Austin for their high-end cars and motorcycles.
Oh, yeah.
So,
I can see that.
Yeah. So in one part of the building, there was the show with all the bikes. There was probably 100 plus bikes. And then on another side of the building, over by the bathrooms, were all kinds of crazy cars. Some of them might have been there for exhibition, but some things there were just stashed in, I think Revival calls it the stash. So, Austin has seen a big influence of higher income folks who've got money to spend and have some nice cars and motorcycles. So a lot of that stuff is stored there. We'll pull up a picture here. So no surprise, Nick, I'm going through the Handbuilt Show. We'll talk about some of the bikes there, but I'm in the back of the quote unquote stash area and kind of a darkened corner. I walk up and I see what looks to be an 86, 87 year model GS in red.
Okay.
And I'm thinking, well, whose bike is this? Why? Maybe they're bringing it out in the show. What's going on? I don't know. Nothing. It was sort of sitting there with cobwebs on it. And I found out, I didn't know who the owner is, but apparently it's just been sitting there for a few years. Somebody's got it stashed there. So if you're listening and this is your red R80 GS, first off, thumbs up on the bike. It looks like it might have been a Euro delivery. I'm not sure. I can't remember if it had reflectors on the fork legs. That's always a telltale.
Sure.
But the rare red color, nice original condition, 40,000 miles or kilometers. I can't remember what the Speedo was. And it still had the 80. It must be a U.S. edition because it had the 80 mile an hour Speedo on it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that was the bike that caught my eye the most. As far as what
diamond
was
in the rough, huh?
A diamond in the rough, yeah. And I mean, that's no surprise. People know where my tastes lie. But as far as the hand-built bikes and the show in general, tons of great stuff. As far as the BMWs go, we mentioned the 2 Carver bikes in the 247 podcast that also is airing this week. I spoke with Mateus Correa from Spain, world traveler on his GS, which was there as well for display. And I met a guy called Scott Thibault, although it looks like it's spelled Thibault, kind of like a Cajun French spelling, but I think it just is pronounced Thibault. And he had 2 bikes on display there, builds by Scott. And so in the full-length podcast, you'll hear interviews not only with Ana, but also Mateus and with Scott. So they had some bikes on display. There were a few other builders I didn't get a chance to talk to. David Lee was there.
Yeah.
And he had the Slash 2. I guess you had seen that, hadn't you?
Yeah, it was a Dover White Slash 2. I don't know if it was an R50 or an R60, or maybe it was a 69S. I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, Dover White, and he had this sweet custom, like, integrated triple tree handlebar situation that really caught my eye.
Yep. Yes. It was a good looking bike. Wes and I did some videos on these, so maybe he'll get those popped up at some point. But we did a kind of a mystery science theater review where we just, had the camera on the bike and made comments.
Nice.
Good and bad. So yeah, David was there. I saw him for a brief moment. Trying to catch him is like trying to get a wet bean in a grease factory, man. I mean, that guy, I don't know what it is, but I spoke to him for a minute. He's like, we'll catch up with you later. And just vaporized and didn't see him again. But whatever. Maybe I'd still like to catch up with him again and talk bikes. He did mention all this 77S chatter. Apparently, he has 77S number 1.
No
00001. That's going to be going up on Bring a Trailer at some point.
Okay.
So keep an eye out for that.
Penny, I'm sure.
Yep, keep an eye out for that. Other sort of news and notes, BMW had all the R12s on display.
Okay.
So they had
the new GS one?
Not the GS, just the standard street version. So
Gotcha.
They had all the variants of the R12. They had one with a nice brushed aluminum tank, which was pretty sharp. And so, of course, you could have taken those out for a test drive, but Austin traffic, downtown, that's the last place I wanted to test ride a motorcycle.
Yeah, that doesn't sound very fun.
There were a couple tattoo booths. So if you needed to get a tat, they had you covered.
So before you go on past that, did you bump into Brandon Reams down there?
I did. I saw him for a minute. And
he got a tattoo.
Did he really? While he was there?
There was I guess it was a Flash tattoo board, and there was an Airhead motor up on the board, and he got it tattooed on his forearm.
Oh, man. Yeah. You know what happened?
Shout out to him because he's the one who always comments on every single video. Thank you, Brandon.
Yes. I'm sorry we didn't get to visit more. I saw him. We were talking, and that's when David Lee kind of on the Star Trek generator just appeared. I saw him. They beamed him down from wherever he was.
Scotty got
I was
him
like,
there.
I got to go over and talk to him real quick. I was like, I'll catch up with you later. And by the time David vaporized, Brandon vaporized, and I never caught up with him again. So that's just the way it goes, I guess.
Yeah.
But it was neat to see him. And I guess Matt from EME was there, maybe?
Yep, he was. I saw a photo that he happened to pop up, and I think it was a photo of him and Scott. He had convinced Scott to take the tank off of his custom bike that was in the show so that he could look at how it was wired.
Oh, God, the wiring was impeccable on that.
Yeah.
It reminded me of there's a builder on YouTube who does Sportsters, a lot of Harleys and stuff, Infinity Motors in Japan. This guy, he's just a wiring wizard. And you could tell Scott had maybe taken some pages inadvertently or otherwise from that. But yeah, some great wiring on Scott's bikes. So a great BMW presence. They sort of had the whole back corner of the facility. There was a Krauser sidecar rig there.
I saw the pictures of that thing. That was wild.
Yeah, very cool. Very cool. And of course, your ubiquitous Harley Davidsons and Japanese bikes and other things. Fun to look at. I enjoyed them. The one thing before we ramble on too much, though, is and sticking to some of these bikes we were looking at the show, and what some of the build prices are on these. And I know a lot of guys are dropping some money on these bikes. I wanted to get your take. I've discussed this on the podcast a few times, but the whole idea of value and what do we value in a motorcycle, especially when it comes to something we're buying. Now, when I value, to me, is that red GS we saw the picture of. That has a lot of value to me historically, that it's still in mostly original condition. Those are the kind of things that get me excited. Conversely, there's guys at that show. Scott had a bike, one of his bikes for sale. Some guy was ready to buy it from him at the show. He said, I'm not leaving until we get, cut a deal on this. And this guy just had to have the bike.
Yeah.
So people value those things a little bit differently. Conversely, I would have a hard time dropping $20,000 on a custom hand-built bike. Not that I'm being critical of anybody else who does it. I just don't see the value in it for me personally, but I know other people do. I'm just curious, what are your thoughts on that?
It's a hard question for someone in my shoes, right? Because I obviously love these bikes. I would love to own one. I don't have the money to buy it, even if it was half that price.
Yeah.
So, it's funny to even try to think of how do I put a value on these things, because at the end of the day, almost any price I can come up with is not something I can hand over.
Yeah.
It's why I build it's why there's a bike on the lift behind me, because I have to work on my own bikes to keep them running. So I think, but to just answer the question from if I had the money, right? If I had thousands of dollars at my disposal, I think value to me is kind of what we talked about earlier, like a custom bike that still can perform, and that kind of goes for any style, in my opinion. If it's a GS style bike, if it's a cafe style bike, you name it. If it's built in a way that I can look at it and say, I can ride that thing and have fun with it, that's the value for me.
Yeah.
I am not a person that's going to buy a bike and sit it in a showroom or sit it in my living room and look at it. I just can't. I mean, I sold my bike when my son was born because I didn't want it sitting in the garage.
I remember.
So to me, I got to be able to ride the thing. And so if there's something done to it that makes it extremely uncomfortable, or, it doesn't have fenders at all, I start to lose interest a little bit. Additionally, I have a hard time putting value on these things because I start customizing them in my head, even if it's already a custom bike.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, well, I would change this and I would change that. And then I get to a point where I'm like, well, I'll just walk away. I'll go build something, I guess.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's a roundabout way of saying, I don't know. It's a hard thing to put a dollar on, for sure.
It is. I mean, the last podcasts we had with Bob at Bob's BMW, he had bought a 73 toaster tank or something in Monza Blue. He was the lower bidder on the bike, but the guy wanted to sell it to him because he knew it was going to remain a static display.
Oh, interesting.
That it wasn't going to be recommissioned and on the road.
Wow.
And
and I'm the other way.
Sit in a museum.
Yeah, I'm the exact opposite. I'd prefer the guy that wants to ride it.
I tend to be too. I wouldn't want to purchase something for a static display. Now, of course, Bob is a motorcycle dealer. He has the ability, and he has an actual museum. So, there is that. We're not operating.
It's a different mindset for sure.
It is. It's a different mindset. So, again, back to what everybody values things a little bit differently. For you, you're probably looking for a rider bike at a reasonable price that you can keep on the road and enjoy. For me, I'm looking for original condition bikes that I can enjoy for what they are, original condition time machines, so to speak, that if I want to sell it and move on, there's a good chance I'll, make a few bucks on it. I'm not going to lose money.
Right.
Some of those custom bikes, I don't know how that value goes. I can tell you right now, for instance, there's a great build that William Plam's son did. It's Edward. They did it years ago. I think might be a video on it from back in the day on YouTube. It's a blue R100R or something. I can't remember what it sold for originally, but it's on eBay now, and there's no interest in it.
Yeah. It's a tough market right now too, though. That's the other challenge is, custom rider, survivor, whatever it is right now, it's a tough time to be selling a motorcycle. But yeah, it's interesting to see, what the prices of these things are when they sell the first time and what they sell for the next time. And I think you're seeing that a lot on Bring a Trailer right now is these bikes. I think there was a sidecar bike just recently that, I don't remember if it was a /2. Either way, it was a sidecar, and it had sold on Bring a Trailer maybe a year or two ago, and it didn't even hit the reserve. I think the second time it went up.
Yes, I've noticed that the BAT alumni bikes.
Yep,
as they're called. Yeah, I've seen a few of those pop up. But anyway, back to the hand built. So tons of fun. Brandon got a tattoo. Good for him. A lot of neat stuff to see. Downtown Austin was crazy. Wes and I tried to go out to eat on Friday or Saturday night or whatever. Good grief. Unbelievable. The crowd.
A little bit busier than the holler.
Holy cow. Yeah. Yes, much busier than the holler. But we did find a nice Mexican restaurant, so that was good.
Very good.
And yeah, so we had a great time. So thanks again to Wes for dragging me down. I had a lot of fun. As I was driving back, of course, my brain was going to, gosh, all right, the Handbuilt Show. If I were putting on a motorcycle show, it would be the Survivor Series show. I think that would just be really neat to see have people bring all original, mostly original condition bikes and see those. That's something I'd like to produce. Maybe they could put that in the corner, a side exhibit somewhere.
Yep. There you go. You heard it first, folks. Comment, your support, and maybe we can peer pressure Daren into putting this together.
Survivor Series show. Yeah.
Cool. Well, it sounds super fun. I'm jealous I couldn't be there. I was there in spirit, following on Instagram. I screenshotted several photos that you were in the background of.
Oh, good. Okay.
I got to send those over to you.
Yeah, I haven't seen them. Was it me just standing there with a mic in front of somebody's face?
I think they were both when you were interviewing somebody. Yeah. But I kept finding them. I'm like, oh no, there he is. It's like, where's Waldo?
Yeah.
Hopefully I can make it down there sometime soon. And yeah, I think that's all we have for today. Like Daren mentioned, we're going to roll into a clip here that you recorded at the Handbuilt Show, chatting with Ana about her bike. That's all we've got. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I don't think I have any links to throw down in the description this week, but if I think of anything, check down there, and that's where they'll be. Until next time. We'll see you. Ride safe.
Toodles. We're committed to bringing you this podcast free of charge, never a paywall or subscription fee. And to help us do that, we rely on the support of our sponsors. We're happy to let you know the BMW Motorcycle Owners of America are continuing their free 1-year digital membership promotion for Airhead 247 podcast listeners. The only caveat here to qualify for this offer is that you are either new to the MOA or have not experienced the MOA as a member in the last 3 years. This offer is good for riders across the globe. So if you're listening to this now, no matter where you are on planet Earth, the offer is valid for you. Digital membership includes 12 issues of the BMW Owners News, an annual copy of the BMW Owners Anonymous book, full access to the MOA website with forums, flea market, and of course, all the money-saving discounts and roadside assistance plans. To join, visit 247.bmwmoa.org. Use the code AIRHEADS247 to register for your free 1-year digital membership. It's a quick and easy way to support our efforts here, and of course, it's free. Look for that website and code in the About section of this program. We're here with Ana Carver. We're looking at your Touareg Blue R80 ST. First off, did you pick the paint colors?
I did. I was looking, I knew that I love blue. I mean, green's my favorite color, but I've had a blue bike before, and I know that I like it. And so I was looking at all these different paint color schemes, and I ran across the old GS with a Touareg Blue. And I'm telling you, I mocked up a whole bunch of colors on my app. And the moment that I saw the Touareg Blue GS, I was like, that's it. That's what I'm doing. Let's not look any further.
It's my favorite color of that era.
Me too.
Of that motorcycle.
Me too.
And I understand you know the builder.
Kinda. Just married to him, yes.
Yeah, so it was funny. I came in here. I knew sort of in the back of my brain this was yours. Anyway, I'm looking at the tag on the back. I was like, A. Carver. Wait a minute. Tyson, Eli. Oh, it's your bike.
Yes.
It's your bike.
This is the first bike that we built the other one, which was mostly Tyson, but this is the first bike that I said, listen, I want to take it apart. I want to learn about it.
Yeah, so tell me what you did as far as building, getting the spanners out and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so we took it all apart, wrench by wrench, bolt by bolt. I took it apart and I asked a lot of questions, and it took a couple days because I was excited. So I was like, let's get this done. I think we built this whole bike in about 6 weeks.
Wow, that's really fast turnaround.
It is fast because I like instant gratification. And when I want something, I'm like, we're doing it. So we took it all apart, took it to powder coat, and then just started on the design and what we wanted it to look like. And I like stock bikes,
Me
That's
too.
kind of my jam.
Me too.
But I also want to make it my own. And so this is what we came up with. And we powder coated, we put the high fender on it, kind of the Touareg Blue, if you see in the front. We matched it. Thank you.
Great touch.
And we kept it as stock as possible, but also with our own flair.
Now, does it have a GS front end on it?
No.
That's
this
an ST
is
front end.
an ST front end.
Okay, so the high fender can kind of fool you.
It does.
If you're not sure. Okay.
It would be a little too tall for me. So we kept the front end, and actually the fender was the first thing we put on it when I got the bike, when it used to be maroon. And when I got the bike, I said, let's put a high fender. I want to see what it looks like. And the rest is history.
Another thing I love about this is the seat.
Yes.
Is it leather?
Honestly, I don't remember it's not leather.
Okay.
It's not leather, but I don't remember the exact material. That had to be shaved down quite a bit.
I was going to say, I can tell it's a little bit lower.
It's lowered. I couldn't touch at all. When we had it redone, and then I said, you know what, we can't touch it, so I can't touch. So we gotta bring it in a lot. Originally, I wanted to do blue stitching, and it just did not look right. I didn't like it at all.
Did you try it?
I tried it.
And then you tore it apart?
Yeah.
Good for you.
And then we ended up with the white, which is what the guy who upholstered it really liked the white. And so I'm glad.
It fits.
Thanks.
It fits. It fits really good.
Thanks.
All right. So the other thing I want to ask you about here is I really like the grips.
Yes.
They've got a gold flake in them.
They do. I'm a girl at the end of the day, and I wanted something sparkly, and I was looking at grips, and I came across those. I said, here it is. This is meant for the bike. I think it adds that little touch of girl flair to it. Even if you weren't a girl, I think they're rad.
No,
right?
Let's put it this way. It doesn't look like a girl's bike necessarily.
I agree.
When I saw the grips, I was like, oh, that's kind of a neat touch. And then I realized it was your bike. I was like, okay, yeah, she put a little flair on there. A little touch. So yeah, you mentioned lowering the seat. So how drastic was that? Are you tippy-toeing on it now? Flat footing? Where are you?
I'm about a good tippy. I'm not super tippy-toed. I think I'm a little flatter than tippy. But I'm used to it. I'm a short girl. I don't flat foot anything. So I'm comfortable at tippy toe. I just don't want to be, flailing around, but I'm comfortable at tippy. But we had to take it down a lot. Tyson had to MacGyver some. He shaved that seat down quite a bit on the edges. He had to shave it down, weld it together. I'm really glad that he has those skills, because for a second there I thought we weren't going to make it happen.
Air Support BMW is a dedicated shop for air-cooled BMW motorcycles, offering high-end restorations and engine blueprinting for all models from World War II through 1995. Air Support offers expert mail-order component repair for transmissions, final drives, carbs, well, anything you can ship, they'll fix it. Air Support uses BMW OEM parts, factory tools, and brings years of experience to each job. And don't worry about shipping to Canada. Shipping rates are affordable and on par with other options. You can follow shop happenings, repairs, bike builds, all of George Thomas's racing exploits on Instagram as well. To schedule your next repair or to find out how George Thomas can help keep your 247 in good order, drop a line or give him a call. It's all there for you at airsupportbmw.com. One of the reasons so many airheads are still on the road today is because of great parts suppliers and enthusiasts like Boxer 2 Valve. William and Edward Plam at Boxer 2 Valve have years of experience with the 247 Airhead, dating back to their first repair shop and dealership in the early 1980s. Boxer 2 Valve stocks and sources only premium parts and tools, so no need to worry if you're getting a cheap pattern or shortcut part. They simply don't carry them. Boxer 2 Valve has extensively researched which parts are correct for your motorcycle. Just enter your year and model, and you'll see only the parts that fit your bike. That takes the guesswork out of the ordering process. Real-time stock information that is also available, so no need to guess what may be on back order that could delay your project. Also, if you're digging into a repair for the first time, be sure to check out Boxer 2 Valve's video repair series. These cover both twin shock and post-81 models and are great tutorials that go step by step through a variety of repairs and parts replacement procedures. The video series is a great workshop companion, one I've used many times over the years. So, for all your Airhead parts needs, Boxer2Valve.com. That's the number 2, Boxer2Valve.com. Tell me about some of the rides you've done on this. I know what I was talking with Eli earlier today, and what's neat is you guys, it's like a family affair.
I know.
You know, with the brothers and then you and everybody. So tell me about, I mean, how many miles have you put in this since you finished it? Where have you gone?
Oh, so I don't know the exact miles, but we've done the Four Corners trip with it.
Okay.
Really, it's not been that many trips. Four Corners. Did I do Arkansas? No, I did not do Arkansas. Yeah, I think Four Corners is the only trip that this has gone on. But it's gonna. I mean, we ride Mexico a lot, so this will be going to Mexico with me very, very soon. But the Four Corners trip was a blast. It was a blast, and you know the bike that I had before this was an R100 RT. And it wasn't really meant to go off-road.
Like a regular RT with the fairing and everything?
I took the fairing off of it, but it still had the suspension of an RT.
Yeah.
And it was miserable off-road.
Yes.
And so I took this thing, I mean, we went off-road. It got dirty. Like, I am so surprised it cleaned up as well as it did.
Really looks good.
Good.
Yeah, I mean, you can't tell it's done that.
Good. No, it's been filthy. So yeah, that's the only trip, I think.
How would you describe, your maintenance skills? So, for instance, could you go in and adjust the valves?
I have done that before, but can I do it off the top of my head? No.
Not yet?
No, not yet.
Okay.
Not yet. However, just talk me through it and I got it.
Yeah.
You know? Talk me through it and I got it.
I want to ask you, again, referencing a chat I had with Eli earlier, he told me about a breakdown he had in Mexico a few years back coming to see you guys. Now, I just want to ask this question just out of curiosity as a traveler, and I'm scared to drive in Mexico.
Okay.
I wouldn't go.
Okay.
Even now with you guys, maybe, because you've been down there, but I'd feel really vulnerable if I was going by myself. Is that warranted?
Not really.
Okay.
Not really. Well, so what are you scared of? Is it the traffic, or is it just Mexico in general? Or both? Or all of the above?
Drug cartels.
Yeah. Yeah, honestly.
And I know that's a huge generalization.
I get it, though.
And it's like 1% of people who go down there have that experience or something.
But they do. But they do, and I understand that. What I will say is, I was born in Mexico. My family's down there, so we go often. But what I've noticed is that they don't mess with motorcycles. They just don't. No, they don't mess with travelers. I think there's an understanding that we're just here to travel, and they're really respectful. Now, can you get in the way maybe of wrong place, wrong time? Sure.
But that can happen anywhere.
I'm from Chicago. And so
it can happen there just as easily.
Exactly. I traveling in Mexico is by far the best traveling I've ever done.
See, now I've wanted to do Baja forever.
Yeah.
Have you done that?
No.
Is that on your bucket list?
Oh yeah, I want to do it all. I want to do it all. I would love to get down there solo at some point. I'm a little scared to do it solo, but because I'm scared I have to do it, if that makes any sense.
It does.
Okay.
It does. I totally understand where you're coming from. Totally understand where you're coming from. Well, that's good to hear. I'm not trying to discourage anybody from riding in Mexico. I'm just, like I said, out of curiosity. I've done a lot of, riding internationally over in Europe. I feel fine there. I'm just a little hesitant to go down there.
I think that has a lot to do with the media, which I understand. Like, that's just part of life.
Yeah, I try to block it out,
It's part of life, but I will say I have a brother who travels all of Mexico. I have family that live there. It's pretty great down there. You should give it a try.
So, all right. So, if somebody's listening and says, all right, well, Anna says, go to Mexico.
Yeah.
What's a ride? Where are you crossing the border? Where are you going?
Okay, so if you're in Texas specifically, or really anywhere, but if you're in Texas and you just want a quick, let's get to Mexico and let's quickly and have the most amazing mountainous roads. It's Monterrey.
Okay.
It's Monterrey, and then you hit up all the mountains surrounding Monterrey. The food's amazing. The roads are unbelievable. You're in the mountains within 2.5 hours from here. Or,
oh wow!
Not from here. It's about 2.5 hours to the border, and then 2.5 hours from the border, and you are in mountains.
So you're in a whole different world.
A whole different world. So I tell everybody, go to Monterrey. Go to Monterrey and explore the mountains.
What about, I'm getting technical here, insurance?
Yes.
Liability and
all
stuff, you've got to buy it.
Yep.
What's the deal with that? How does that go down?
So you do it all online. You just get it. You get your insurance online, and then you want to get your tip. So right when you cross the border, you do have to stop at this place called the Banjercito, and that's where you're going to get your visa, and you're going to get all your paperwork to let you in, and you want to pay for your, because they don't want you taking cars or motor vehicles over there and just selling them. So you're going to put a deposit down, and then when you come back, they're going to give it back to you. But it's really easy.
There's no other way to ask this, but given where we are here currently, 2025, are you concerned the climate's changed a little bit at the border and going back and forth? Is there going to be more resentment for Americans down there? I mean, you're obviously, you've got family from down there, you're bilingual, but here I come. Hey, y'all, how's it going?
No. I've heard the climate right now, I get what you're saying, but I've heard this for so many years. It's right now, it's not a good time to go. Right now, it's not a good, it's never a good time. You know what I mean? You hear this all the time, and no, there's no problem. They're the friendly, oh my gosh, they would love you. They would let you go. No, there's no problem. There's no problem. Absolutely. Right. You go, and you're going to have, we have a friend that says, the best thing about Mexico is they have Mexican food. So you go, and you're gonna gain 10 pounds, and you're gonna ride amazing roads, and you're gonna come back, and you're gonna have amazing stories.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Anna Carver, great bike.
Oh, thanks.
You've got a great husband.
I know.
He's a fabulous guy.
He is.
Continued success.
Thank you.
You bet. All right, good job. Thanks for joining us on the Short Wheelbase Podcast, presented by the BMW Motorcycle Owners of America. To join the club, visit bmwmoa.org. You can find full-length episodes of the excerpts heard here on the Airhead 247 podcast. The Short Wheelbase Podcast is produced and edited by Nick Malozzi. Audio segments by Jeff Glover. You can check in with Nick at Airhead Misfits on Instagram.